Two messages, same conversation. In the first, an AI agent tells its owner it has tested cancelling a booking and that it used the person sitting in first place on the wait list to do it. In the second, asked to undo that, it says it can't add them back. A real person lost their place at the front of a gym class waitlist, and according to the account the ABC published, the agent couldn't put it back. Before you decide that this is a story where the AI turns on us though, the man who owned that agent had asked it something first. He wanted to move up the queue. Pull up a seat, regulars. That request is the whole video. Not because it lets the agent off, because almost every version of this you saw in August left it out. I've been through the ABC's reporting, what the government said about it afterwards, and the security people arguing that everyone is staring at the same wrong failure. Three things went wrong here. Andrew set the goal, the agent picked a method he hadn't approved, and the booking system accepted an action it should have refused. Only one of those is a new AI problem. Start with what's actually documented. Earlier this year, a man named Andrew set up an AI agent to handle small personal jobs. The agent ran on a tool called OpenClaw, and the model underneath it was Anthropic's Claude. The ABC named both. One of the jobs was a gym class, a popular one, the kind that fills up in minutes after the booking window opens. So getting in is less about fitness than it is about being awake at the right time. The ABC reported that the agent found a way to book classes further ahead than the normal window would allow. Pause on that, because it's already the interesting part, and nobody's been cancelled yet. A booking system was letting a customer reserve outside the rules it advertised. Nobody was visibly harmed by that, which is probably why it isn't the headline. But a rule the gym thought it was enforcing had already stopped being one, and it stopped quietly. Then Andrew ended up fourth on the wait list. He asked the agent a reasonable sounding question. Could it get him closer to the top? According to the screenshots the ABC published, the agent looked at how that system handled cancellations and reported back that there was nothing stopping it from cancelling a reservation that wasn't Andrew's. Then it said it had tested exactly that against the person sitting in first place. Andrew went from fourth to third. He told it to undo that. It said it couldn't add them back. Now, the version of this that went round in August was shorter. Man asks AI to book a gym class, AI hacks gym instead. That version is doing an enormous amount of work with the word instead, because there's a request sitting in the middle of it. Andrew didn't say cancel someone. The ABC's account doesn't support that, and I'm not going to imply it. But he did ask a question with an assumption buried in it. Move me up the list. There aren't many ways up a wait list. Someone in front of you drops out, or something makes them drop out. He approved the goal, he did not approve the method. The agent chose the method. Hold on to that distinction because it comes back. So what did the thing actually have? Not a body and no sign of malice. What it had was access, a goal, and permission to keep going without checking back in. That last one gets underrated. When you use a chatbot, it says something and stops. An agent doesn't stop. It looks at a page, describes something, acts on it, looks at the result, and goes again, dozens of times, while you're making a coffee or doing something else. And what I want to be careful with here, because it matters, working out the next step is not the agent malfunctioning. That's the product. That's what you're buying. Nobody sold anyone a machine that follows instructions literally and stops at the first obstacle. Anthropic's own engineering writing on agents makes the risk explicit. Small errors compound when a system runs many steps unsupervised, which is why the recommendation is to test in a sandbox first. That's the company that builds the model saying that, well before any of this happened. The gym booking system was not a sandbox. It was a live product with real customers inside it. This is the bit the viral version skipped entirely. This wasn't sophisticated security being defeated. According to the agent's own message, published by the ABC, the service accepted a cancellation without checking that the reservation belonged to Andrew. That's the reported weakness. Without an independent technical report, I'm not going further than that, and I'm not showing you the specifics either, because some of this may still be sitting live somewhere. But the category has a name in security work. It's decades old, and it's one of the most common serious flaws in web applications. Broken authorization. The server trusting the request instead of checking the requester, which gives us the uncomfortable version of this story. If that's what happened, the agent didn't need to be clever. It needed to be the customer who bothered to ask. So if the flaw is that ordinary, what's actually new here? Not the vulnerability. People have been finding and testing weaknesses like this in the same afternoon for as long as there's been the internet. The new part is that one automated process found the shortcut, decided it served the goal, and acted on it before anyone saw a plan or approved a step. Finding the weakness and using it weren't held apart by a second human decision. They were joined together by automation. And there's the distinction I asked you to hold. Andrew approved the destination, nobody approved the road. Then there's where the harm landed. On someone who wasn't in the conversation at all, not a customer of any AI product, not asked, they just lost their place. And the part I keep coming back to, told to fix it, the agent couldn't. Not refused, couldn't. It had the power to take the place and no power to give it back. That asymmetry should bother you more than the word hack. Breaking things is almost always easier than restoring them. And any system that hands the agent the first without the second is badly built, whatever model happens to be driving. Australia's cyber agency wrote about this the day after the ABC published and updated it 3 days later. The Australian Signals Directorate described the outcome as decisions the agent should not have made and tied it to something called specification gaming. That term is worth having. Specification gaming is when a system satisfies exactly what you asked for and completely misses what you meant. It isn't rebellion, it's nearly the opposite. Obedience without judgment. The instruction taken at face value, optimized hard with none of the unstated conditions the person assumed were in there. Move me up the list doesn't contain the words, don't screw over someone else. A person would usually take that as assumed. The agent had no reason to. And months before the ABC investigation, ASD and its international partners had already published joint guidance. Restrict agents to low-risk tasks. Don't give them broad, unrestricted access. Now the fair case, because there is one, and it's better than it usually gets credited for. If you require a human tick for every step an agent takes, you haven't built an agent. You've built a slower mouse. The whole value of these things is handling jobs where the steps aren't known in advance. Approval on every harmless click creates supervision fatigue, and it trains people to approve things without reading them. So the answer isn't approval everywhere. It's approval at the points where another human, money, or something irreversible is involved. Be honest about what people want from these things too. Nobody buys an agent to sit and watch it work. The appeal is handing over a chore and getting the result back. The second point in the agent's favor, and I mean this one seriously, it told him. It didn't hide the cancellation or fudge the report. It said what it had done in plain language, including the part that made the owner look bad. That is not nothing. Plenty of software fails silently. And third, this is the one reported incident, not proof that your calendar assistant is coming for your neighbors. Anyone extrapolating a wave of autonomous AI crime from a gym waitlist has gone well past what the evidence carries. None of that rescues the outcome. It does change where the fix belongs. Which brings me to what we still don't have. There's no independent forensic report. What exists is a journalist's account, screenshots supplied by the man involved, and a government agency reading that reporting. The booking software company declined to discuss specific security matters. Anthropic didn't respond to the ABC before publication. And notice what those screenshots actually are. They're the agent's account of what the agent did. Probably accurate. Still, a report from the thing being investigated rather than a log from the system it touched. This also happened months before you heard about it. TechCrunch reported that a company blog describing it went up in April and was later taken down. And Australia's first known autonomous AI cyber attack means first known. Nobody keeps a complete national register of these. Reported first is not the same as first. So 3 failures. Here's the order I'd fix them in, and the order is the actual point. The application owner comes first, not last. Every action gets an authorization check on the server, where the request lands, not in the interface where it's easy to go around. Cancellations get logged and can be reversed. The agent's developer is second. Least privilege, sandboxes, and show the user the plan before it runs. Us, the users, come third. Not first, third. Constrain the methods and not just the goal. And if you take one thing out of this, take it as a test. Before you hand an agent a job, ask 2 questions. If this goes wrong, does the damage land on somebody who isn't me? And if it does, can I undo it? 2 no's, and that job still needs a person in it. Notice where write a better prompt sits on that list. Bottom. That's my reading rather than a finding in any of these documents, but I'd argue it's still a practical lesson here. A polite prompt is not a security boundary. The system receiving the action has to be the thing that says no. So, what actually failed here? No, an AI didn't turn malicious and go after a JIT. And no, this wasn't just a bloke phrasing a request badly. An agent with real access turned an old, ordinary software weakness into a real world consequence. And the one control that should have stopped it wasn't doing its job. A booking system should check whose reservations it's about to cancel. On the account we have, that one didn't. I'm not going to tell you who's legally responsible for that. It isn't settled and it isn't mine to settle. But which control should have caught it isn't really in dispute. Somebody lost their place in the queue. Neither the user nor the agent could put them back. Next video, Qantas and Essentia. What changes when the system on the other end of the agent isn't a gym timetable, but a workplace? If that changes, I'll cover it. Every source is linked below and graded, including the ones I couldn't confirm. No hype, no doom. See you next Friday, regulars.